I want you to imagine the smell first, because that's what everyone remembers. The gate rattles, the afternoon is bright, and somewhere in that maze of impounded steel, there's a vehicle that's been playing dead. A staffer waves their hand in front of their face and calls it in. The odor isn't subtle, it's a certainty. And inside the front trunk of a Tesla, registered to a rising pop star known as David, legal name David Anthony Burke, there is a truth no artist ever intended to stage. The remains of a 15-year-old girl named Celeste Rivas Hernandez. The discovery of her body inside the car was made on September 8, 2025 in Los Angeles after the car had been abandoned and towed from a Hollywood Hills street. Police say Celeste had likely been dead for several weeks. The cause and manner of death still undetermined, although I do have an update. The investigation is ongoing, and the questions are endless. This is the story of David in deep shit. I'm your host, Stacy Lee. Let's begin. The timeline begins not with movement, but with stillness. On August 27th, a parking officer in the Hollywood Hills chalked a line across the Tesla's tire. Routine. It was routine. On December 3rd, the vehicle was still there, so a bright yellow ticket slid under the wiper. Another week went by. Still, there was no movement. The Tesla was finally towed and pulled into the mechanical graveyard of a city impound lot. Tow yards see plenty of things: weapons in glove boxes, forgotten pets in carriers, a needle or a blunt stashed under a seat. What workers don't expect is a smell so strong it cuts through exhaust fumes and motor oil. The impound lot workers traced the stench to the Tesla's front trunk. I guess people call it a frunk. And when they realized the smell was coming from that particular car, they called the LAPD. The cops arrived at the impound lot and opened the trunk, where they found the body of Celeste inside. LAPD Captain Scott M. Williams briefed reporters carefully. He said Celeste had been dead for several weeks. It was the kind of phrasing meant to satisfy curiosity without compromising the integrity of the case. The translation is that the body was very decomposed, and the precise timeline of death had blurred. The medical examiner had not yet determined cause or manner, so this wasn't a solved story. It was just the beginning. Behind the microphones, detectives moved fast. Search warrants were drawn up, a residence near the tow location was raided, and electronics were seized. Forensic teams began combing the Tesla for trace evidence: hair, fibers, touch DNA, soil. Digital specialists would later sift through phones and laptops and backup hard drives, looking for a map of Celeste's final days. On paper, the case was a homicide investigation. In practice, it was an unanswered question with thousands of eyes watching. Celeste Rivas Hernandez came from Lake Elsinore, a town east of Los Angeles where suburban streets end in desert hills. It's a place where kids ride bikes to the gas station for sodas, where the lakefront hosts fireworks on the 4th of July, where people know each other's business even if they wish they didn't. In 2024, Celeste was reported missing at the age of 13. She resurfaced, but by then her family had already tasted the fear and the absence. She disappeared again, and now at 15, their fear had become finality. Celeste should have been celebrating her birthday that week. She was caught on camera for the last time we know of. She was walking down the sidewalk and a liquor store camera picked up Celeste moving about in the area. At first, she is seen walking, and then Celeste begins running, and it appears that she is running towards a car that is waiting for her. When this footage first came out, people believed that Celeste was running to catch the school bus, but she did not get on that bus that day. All of this footage takes place around 7 a.m. on the day she disappeared. Instead of having a birthday party for Celeste, neighbors lit candles at a vigil, voices cracking as they said her name into microphones meant for wedding receptions, not memorials. Friends described a girl with a streak of independence, sometimes restless, sometimes grounded. She had friends, a circle like any other teen. She'd fought with her mom, laughed with cousins, posted online in ways that now sting with hindsight. Celeste's family clutched photos, her in a sweatshirt, her at a park. To them, she wasn't a headline, she was theirs. But in the wider world, Celeste's name was suddenly fused with someone else's. David Burke, barely out of high school himself, had rocketed to stardom on the back of viral hits like Romantic Homicide and Here With Me. His music carried a raw DIY feel, bedroom tracks uploaded to SoundCloud and TikTok that caught fire. David's voice is soft and mournful, heavy with yearning. He became a star before he had a chance to be anonymous. He had one song in particular that blew up on TikTok. Of course, I cannot play any of his music for you here on YouTube. But if you're on TikTok at all, it is that song that says, "I don't care how long it takes." People use it to play as a background song for kind of sad or romantic videos. But this kid got famous really fast. When Celeste's body was found in his car, tour dates were canceled immediately. David Burke's silence, whether chosen or advised, became fuel for speculation. The presumption of innocence is the bedrock of law, but in the public square, silence is often interpreted as guilt.
Tonight, more than a week after a body was found inside an impounded Tesla registered to the singer who goes by the stage name David, Los Angeles investigators identifying the remains as 15-year-old Celeste Rivas, the same girl who was reported missing last year, according to the Riverside County Sheriff's Office. Police first found the teen's decomposed body on September 8th after being called to a Hollywood tow yard because of a foul odor coming from the Tesla, which was impounded after a person reported the car abandoned. Law enforcement sources say the remains were not intact, and according to the medical examiner, it appeared the girl, who is described as having wavy black hair and weighing about 71 pounds, had been dead inside the Tesla for an extended period of time. A spokesperson for the artist did not respond to NBC News' request for comment today, but last week said the 20-year-old was fully cooperating with the authorities. The LAPD is not calling the death criminal, saying in a statement that at this time, the agency does not have a crime classification from the coroner as to the mode or manner of death. Thus, we do not have any suspect information at this time. And right now, police have not said if they believe the singer David knew or ever had contact with the victim. We are just learning that his show scheduled for tonight in Seattle has now been canceled.
And then came the details, 4 of them especially, that made rumor metastasize into theory. First, the tattoos. Reports claim that Celeste and David both have shh tattooed on their right index finger. Right index finger, Stacy. Now, TMZ has verified that fact. It's TMZ, take it for what it's worth. But apparently both David Burke and Celeste have shh tattooed on their finger. So, keep a secret. Fox 11 relayed this claim first and stressed that it was a common tattoo. Other celebrities have it as well. LAPD has still not confirmed the connection of the tattoos. Second, Celeste's own mother reportedly told media outlets that her daughter was seeing someone with the name of David. Now again, this is a family statement reported by outlets, not evidence confirmed by the police. But it does appear that Celeste's own mother has verified her daughter had a boyfriend named David. Third, David wrote an unreleased song titled Celeste. This song was recently leaked online. I can't play it for you because it's copyrighted, but these are some of the lyrics I wrote down for you. Celeste, the girl with my name tattooed on her chest. Smell her on my clothes like cigarettes. I hear her voice each time I take a breath. I'm obsessed. Well, that doesn't look good. I'll just add my own lyric here. Celeste, the reason I'm now under arrest. I am a songwriter, you guys, so you know I had to do it. Fourth, David released a song in February called One Last Dance. And in the music video, again, it's copyrighted, David is dragging a dead body that he then hides in a trunk. Yeah, there's more though. So 4 threads tied into the official record became gospel online. TMZ has also reported that personal friends of David's have confirmed to their reporters, TMZ's reporters, that David and Celeste were in a romantic relationship. These friends claim they were told that Celeste was 19 years old. Celeste was 14 years old. 14. She was a child who has reportedly been with David since she was 13 years old. 13 years old is not kind of a child. 13 is a little girl. A 19 or a 20-year-old adult having sex with a 13 and 14-year-old child is a crime. Full stop. And although David has not been arrested at this time, he needs to be labeled as a child abuser if these allegations turn out to be true, which at this point, it's looking pretty bad for him. Before the tow yard, before the body was found, David's art already courted death. His concerts had been covered in the media for their funeral-themed staging, a casket on stage, a wreath, a guest book where fans scrawled letters to the dead. For fans, it was catharsis. For outsiders, it was unsettling. I don't mind death-themed things. Death is a part of life, and people who like death-themed things, that doesn't make them murderers. I get called out on this all the time in my own house because my study that's almost finished is kind of death-themed. Some of us like dark things. It doesn't make us all murderers. But most of us also don't have a dismembered and decaying body in the trunk of our car. And after September 8th, all of this death-themed art became evidence in the court of opinion. Videos, too, drew scrutiny. In the video for One More Dance, a blindfolded figure lingers near what appears to be a trunk. In David's video, Rehab, cartoon violence animates in bright, surreal strokes. These had once been props and aesthetics. Now they were recast as foreshadowing. David gave an interview for Genius Verified where he talks about his song Romantic Homicide. Burke explained that the lyrics were figurative. He said, "I killed her in the back of my mind." Okay. He went on to say that the song is about heartbreak, not homicide. Clips circulated online where David talks about his alter ego, Itami. He says this is a character he created for manga. Manga is a genre of Japanese comic book. And this alter ego of his, Itami, is a villain. He says it is his shadow self and his chaotic twin. Art, not confession, according to David, but the internet isn't great at context. David also gave an interview that some now find troubling, and I'm going to play a clip of that for you now.
It's a real conversation that happened. And the irony of it was that person that was saying, I love you, she's not in my life anymore. So it's like, people say that the string can't be cut and the connection cannot be severed, but I feel like it can sometimes. I really wanted the listeners to feel like they're reading a book almost, and they get into a different chapter with every song, but there's also that kind of pause where they can take every song in by itself and then have this kind of visual landscape in this interlude to kind of be in my head, in my mindset, and why I wrote the project like this and how everything went, just to like keep them even more interested and connected throughout the project for sure.
At the end of the interlude, correct me if I'm wrong here, She says, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't respond. She says, I love you again. It repeats itself and you don't respond. Was that done purposely?
Absolutely. Because the next song after that is This Really Love?
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of like a lead into that kind of a transition type thing, you know?
I believe the last time you were here, didn't you say you never experienced love or hadn't been in love? You didn't.
Yeah, I wasn't in a relationship then. Nah.
The police, meanwhile, stuck to facts. The car was ticketed on September 3rd, and then it was towed. I don't know if you've spent a lot of time in LA, but they do not mess around with parking there. You cannot park where you're not supposed to park, and you cannot leave your car overnight in most places. Your car will be gone. So when he didn't come back for his car, it was towed. Then the employees at the tow yard noticed the odor and the flies, so they called the police. Celeste's body was found. And the rest, the funeral and the props and the Tommy alter ego, the tattoos, the boyfriend, all of that started to come out in the days following. This case isn't a single story. It's 3 stories running side by side. What is known, what is reported, and what is unknown. So let's talk about what is known. On September 8th, 2025, tow yard workers followed the stench and flies to the front trunk of a Tesla registered to David Anthony Burke. They called the police and they found Celeste Rivas Hernandez inside. That car had been marked on August 27th and ticketed by September 3rd, and then it was towed after it wasn't moved. The LAPD captain, Scott Williams, told the reporters that Celeste had been dead for several weeks, but the medical examiner has still not determined a cause or manner of death. A death certificate was just released. We're getting there. Search warrants were executed at a residence near the tow site, and electronics were seized. Everyone online seems to believe that is one of David's residences, but the cops have not confirmed that. The case is being investigated as a homicide. We know that. No suspect has yet been named, and no charges have been filed. You'll be seeing this the second week of October. If there's an update, I will bring it to you in the form of a short. And like I said, a vigil was held in Lake Elsinore. Celeste had been reported missing in 2024, so she had been gone for a long time. She'd disappeared once, she'd come back, she'd disappeared again. And of course, everyone believes that the entire year that she's been missing, she's been with David. Now, here's what's been reported but not confirmed by police. The tattoo match. Celeste and David both having "shh" tattooed on their right index fingers. LAPD has not verified that or confirmed a romantic relationship. It has been reported that Celeste's mother told reporters her daughter had a boyfriend named David. That is a family statement, not police confirmation. And then, of course, we have all the talk about the funeral-themed concerts. Here's what is unknown. How Celeste died, where she died, who placed her in the trunk of the Tesla, and when, and whether any alleged connection is material to the case. Now, I always check the news right before recording an episode that is still a breaking story. Just hours before I recorded this episode, Celeste's death certificate was released. It states that she was not pregnant at the time of her death and had not been pregnant during the previous year. All it verifies is that Celeste is dead and that she was not pregnant. An autopsy was performed, but as the first week of October, when I'm recording this, the toxicology report from that autopsy has not been released. The cause of death has also been withheld at this point. The coroner has not made an official ruling as manner of death or cause of death, or if the coroner has made a determination, the office has not released those findings publicly. Yet. In true crime storytelling, temptation lurks in the unknown. Fill the silence with theory. Sharpen rumor into blade. But if we do that, we commit another kind of violence against the truth. Progress in cases like this doesn't happen in headlines. It happens in silence. The medical examiner's office must wrestle with decomposition. Weeks in summer heat mean tissue breakdown, insect activity, bloating, collapsing. Determining cause of death isn't simple. A stab wound may no longer read as sharp force trauma in a decomposed body. Poison may no longer be detectable in blood, but might still linger in hair or nails. Now, when I think about the California heat in the dead of summer, in the trunk of a car for weeks, we could be looking at bones. We could be looking at insects and larvae, a little bit of tissue, hair, and bone. And that is why forensic teams in cases like this have to turn to multiple disciplines. Histology, examining tissue at the microscopic level. Toxicology, testing for substances in fluids. Radiology, scanning bones for fractures. Forensic entomology, studying insect development to estimate time of death. And each of these reports takes weeks, sometimes months, and each one of them matters. As of now, the medical examiner has not released results. The cause and manner of Celeste's death remain blank on the official ledger. Detectives, meanwhile, chase the timeline of the Tesla. Who parked it there? When? Which cameras caught its arrival? And I have wondered, since I found out about this, have the cameras had enough time to re-record over the footage of someone leaving that car? If the car was parked the last week of August, ticketed on the 3rd, and then not moved for a week after that, area cameras might have re-recorded over the footage. Cops will still be able to look at other cameras in the area, and they've also got devices that connect to nearby Wi-Fi. So if they can identify phones in that area around the time the car was dropped, they can link the phones connecting to nearby Wi-Fi signals and networks to a suspect that might have dropped that car. Every piece of digital exhaust matters. Cell towers, snap streaks, GPS coordinates, even the passive hum of Bluetooth signals. In modern investigations, our phones often testify against us. And then there is the paper trail. August 27th, the car was marked. September 3rd, it was ticketed. Days later, it was towed. And September 8th, the warrant was obtained, the trunk was opened, and the body was discovered. Chain of custody is built from small signatures, each one a protection against the collapse of evidence in court. If a single gap appears, if a defense attorney can argue that evidence was tainted or improperly seized, their case unravels. The LAPD has been quoted directly. The Los Angeles Times laid out the ticket and the tow sequence. Rolling Stone reporters apparently spoke with some of the staff at the tow yard, the same people who smelled the odor and saw the flies. NBC Los Angeles did a story on Celeste's missing person history in Lake Elsinore. And those aren't theories, those are fragments of the official record. But outside of the newsroom, the noise is relentless. Clips of David talking about Itami, his alter ego, his evil twin, interviews where he explains that romantic homicide is a metaphor. Online, those clips aren't framed as art, they're framed as confessions. And here's the paradox. Context matters, but context can also distort. The police have not named David Burke as a suspect yet. That's a fact. It's not satisfying, but as of October 4th, it stands as the truth. We circle back to Celeste. She was 15. She was missing at 13. She should have been at her birthday party that week, blowing out candles. Instead, she was discovered in a trunk, towed from a Hollywood Hills street. This was a child, and I don't want her to get forgotten or lost in the story because it involves a celebrity. The LAPD calls it a homicide investigation. The medical examiner has not ruled cause or manner. No suspect has been named. Everything else, the tattoos, the boyfriend, stage props, alter egos, it's noise until proven otherwise. Some of it may be true, some of it may be half true, some of it may be irrelevant, but irresistible. We have no idea how long Celeste has been dead. If the body was severely decomposed, we're all hoping that forensic scientists can tell whether it was severely decomposed from the heat or from time. David has been laying really low. The clips and the interviews that I've been showing you are from before Celeste's body was found. At her vigil, voices said her name out loud over and over as if repetition could bring her back. And that's what we can do now. Say her name with clarity, with respect, without rumor. I will, of course, keep you updated as this story progresses. The LAPD has asked that if you have any information about the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, you contact the Los Angeles homicide detectives in the West Bureau Department. That number is 877-275-5273. I want to send love from the Dark Hearts community to all of those who are missing Celeste. Her short life ended tragically, and we are sorry for your loss. We are all hoping that soon she will get justice. Thank you for joining me today on Dark Hearts with Stacy Lee. I sure appreciate you. This is my podcast. It's on Apple and Spotify. I post brand new episodes every Monday and Wednesday, and I have a second podcast coming to Apple and Spotify soon. It's going to be called 15-Minute Mysteries with Stacy Lee. We're going to do disappearances, dark stories, mysterious stories, and medical mysteries. As always, a special thank you to my patrons. Your support means the world to me. And don't forget about our fundraiser where we try to help solve cold crimes. If you watch this video on my channel, it will tell you how you can donate. We are so close to our first donation. I always appreciate it when you spend a little bit of your day with me, and I hope the rest of it is great. Stay safe, my friends, and be kind to each other. And I will see you next time on Dark Hearts with Stacy Lee. Bye.